Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Headspace Podcast. This is a show where we go through new hip-hop albums, track by track, give thoughts, opinions, walk through it. Sometimes Chris Chroma's with me, sometimes I'm by myself, but the goal is to have a bit of a conversation and just kind of look at the art of the album and see what people are doing with it. This week, we'll be talking about Blu Oh No with the album A Long Red Hot Los Angeles Summer Night. My name is Holden Stefan Roy, and I will be here talking with you, listen to the album a bunch. By no means am I an expert, and I encourage any comments you guys want to leave to educate me, correct me, or just join the discussion. I will answer you in that comment section if you do take that time to leave a comment, because I think that's super important. And to show I'm serious, last week we talked about the new 2 Chainz project, Rapper Go to the League, and on that, Mr. Lindell Williams said, I liked most of the concepts on this album. The sound was kind of stagnant at times, and I think he may have kept the sound of things in that lane for his audience that would maybe be expecting that from him. Overall, I think this is an admirable album, as it is a step in a different direction. Now, I'm not sure what your perceptions of 2 Chainz is, but I found that to be a very lyrical, content-driven album, and it was quite enjoyable to listen to it. The track, It Was Me, or something along those lines. If I fucked up the name, sorry. Like, fuck, it just blew my mind. It's just like, it's got lyrics like, my daughter asked me what a drug dealer was. I said me. It's just got like this tone to it, this bluntness to his life, where it's like he's trying to explain that he understands the way, but like show a different way. And I really appreciated the tone of the album. Lindell also says, I also think your musical content should be growing as you grow mind-wise, because your audience is doing the same, and I think 2 Chainz achieved that goal. I think it's a 4.45 as an admirable album in the times we're living in. For Lindell, that's a pretty good grade. I also like it when y'all tell me what you thought of the project, because it's cool to see like how our tastes different and stuff. And if you come back over time, I'm going to remember who you are in the comments. And yeah, he says, great review and good luck on your big booty hoe wish, because come on, at a certain point in life, it's a fun idea to just imagine for your birthday that your lady friend would bring home a big booty hoe. So thanks, Lindell. I hope it happens one day too. I digress. That's not really the review you're here for. I just like to show that it's like a conversation, and over time, it's cool, it's fun. I like to watch this all grow. If you don't like me, that's totally fine too. I respect that. Special thanks to our patrons, Linda Williams, Suprosco 1994, Carl J, Chris Prado, and Ismail Gadamsi. We'll talk a bit about that at the end of the video, and I think it's time to get into this little review of Blu Oh No's A Long Red Hot Los Angeles Summer Night. And I want to preface this by, again, saying I'm not like a professional. Basically, I started reviewing albums one day and I just kept going. So I've listened to a lot of albums at this point. And I feel like this is just a big and very public learning process. So this would be like the part of the show where I like to contextualize how familiar I am with the artists, because I think it really impacts your listening and understanding of the music, right? So if you've been a fan of Blu since Before the Heavens dropped, I hope that's the right name of the album, like back in 2007, and you've been like on that shit forever, you've been excited, you've been watching the different issues in his personal life that have transpired, and you get to this point where this album comes out, your feelings towards it are going to be drastically different than, say, somebody like me who reviewed two of the two Blu in Exile albums that we did, not the 2012 one, but there was one that came out a couple of years back that was kind of like a reissue of their early work. And then there was I think it's Before the Heavens or Below the Heavens. I'm really sorry about that. And we did the album reviews for that due to just having some people really request it over and over again. So we took it serious, and it was like such a pleasurable album to listen to. Just some beautiful artistry and great beats and whatnot. So for myself, when I realized that Blu was back with us dropping a new project here, I was a little bit excited, mostly just out of a curiosity to see what he sounds like today with something new. And because typically when I review more lyrical people, the folk who do come to watch these reviews tend to appreciate that more than, say, the non-lyrical people. And we went from like everybody's dropping projects to a couple people's dropping projects, so I guess this one just caught my attention this time. You guys can always just let me know what upcoming albums you would like to see us cover, and honestly, if you guys have preferences, it's easier than me having to make choices, so I'm cool with that. Anyway, so I was just kind of down to see what this was about, and yeah, so I don't really have a lot more to say on my experiences there. I love the cover. It's just kind of got this red background where it kind of zones in on, our little protagonist. I assume it to be Blue, next to a dog and a car, and it just kind of feels very LA. It make you feel like you're about to go on a story and an adventure. That's what I felt when I first heard a long, red, hot Los Angeles summer night. Like, it's such a specific thing. Like, it's a long title, so it's something that's going to, like, stand out, right? And it kind of implies that you're going to go on an adventure of some kind. Like, you're going to walk through a night. Now, I just kind of was hoping for at this point that the album would have some kind of a story to it because of the way it looks a little bit comic booky in the cover. Like, I think it's really nice. It creates a cool aesthetic. There's no text on it. It's just like the artwork almost speaks for itself, gives you an idea of the adventure to come. And then, you just kind of see the title there and you're like, okay, something's going to happen. And yeah, so 17 songs. The only thing I was really expecting going into it is it was going to be a pretty lyrical experience. And that was about it. So on that note, instead of dilly-dallying, why don't we talk about the intro?
La Brea, King Bully, King Figueroa, Central, Vernon.
I mean, that beat is just kind of nice and like it kind of picks you up. It sounds rich is the best way. So I don't know who Oh No is. I forgot to say that. I know he made the beats, and that was about all I had going into this. But man, it's rich sounding, and it kind of builds up. Like, you almost feel like the credits are rolling in a sense, like the opening scenes. Like, and the way Blue's talking here, it's almost narrator like. The place, Los Angeles, California, the city of angels, the city of dreams, a place where anything is possible. It's almost like a old-timey novel, I think, or something is about to take place, and it's just painting the picture. Everyone is rich and no one is poor, and I don't know, it kind of feels satirical with it, as he then goes on to list like all these hoods, like Franklin, Hollywood, Sunset, Melrose, Santa Monica, Wilshire, Broadway, Graham, Venice, Crenshaw, La Brea, and he just kind of rolls on through. And then he goes, this is the birthplace of G's, gangsters, OGs, the original gangsters, the angels. This is their story. Like all their stories, the story of murder, robbery, conspiracy, the story of the lost angels. And it goes a little something like this. Now, I basically read a lot of that out to you kind of verbatim because it's pretty straightforward, but it was important because it very clearly feels like the prologue to almost a novel, or like the very opening scene of like a cheesier movie where they still do that narration shit. And I thought it was really cool because you listen to it and it really it's like it's shouting on everyone. Like this story that you're about to hear kind of could be anybody from these places' story. Like, this is the story of LA, almost like this is the generic what would it be, but not like generic in that Blue is being generic, but generic in the sense that he's trying to create a caricature of what almost anyone could experience and like how it could be. And I really just enjoy like how he's trying to keep it so West Coast with it, how he's trying to keep it so proper. The beat just feels great with it. I give it a 4.25. I think the way it flows right into the next song is super cool. And as far as an introduction goes, it does its job. It takes you away from your life. It gets you ready to listen to this story and kind of gets you interested in what's about to happen next. However, when you do listen to it like 8-9 times over, you're still kind of left with a lot of this song is just listing places that I don't have a huge connection to personally. On the other hand, I bet if you're from Rosecrans, you're sitting there and you're loving the fact that he's shouting you out amongst everybody else there would be my feeling. So it's really cool. For what it is, I admire what it is, and it's all right. But I think we can get right into the first real song with the Lost Angels anthem.
Bugs, Benjamin, Frank, bang faces, bang building banks, Billy and Bugs, bang bang.
So it just starts off with this Kezia person kind of singing with Blue. Angels coming from all angles, better watch your chain for they leave you like Cain and Abel. Let's take no mess and your bitch scandalous. So you get the sense like this chorus really sets the tone of like the city. Like, everyone in Los Angeles is an angel because it's like lost angels and shit, right? And everywhere you turn, one of these angels could be coming for you, coming for your chain, coming for your situation. But you know how Cain takes out Abel, or the other way around. It's almost like death is imminent and your woman might turn on you, and everything's almost like like a gossipy situation. It's scandalous, you know? And it's really cool. I like the way the song just starts like that. But then Blue starts rapping. Basically, the whole album is going to have Blue rapping like this. And this is okay for the reason that we'll get into why. But this might be one of his finest performances on the project, in my opinion. Like this song, because sometimes I'm really bad at pointing out the standouts. This song is like really cool. Like if you know somebody that's like into the super lyrical shit, alliteration, fast-paced flows, fucking actually moving forward a narrative while simultaneously just being fucking ridiculous with overkilling words and rhymes, Blue is doing this. Blue is making it ridiculous. I mean, just the alliteration. Look how it starts. Money, money, my motto, money, machine, money, cell phone, ring, mulatto, models make... I don't know if I can say mulatto. Sorry if that's offensive. Models making money, money making me, never breaking me, big bang, hanking me bread, bakery bed, green elephant, kale, green filling my jeans, every cream, queen cake for me. Damn. So it's kind of painting this picture, right, of how money is kind of a driving force. Everything's about money. Girls are about money. But he's doing it in so many different ways. He starts off being direct, but like big bang hanking, you just kind of picture money. Bread, bakery bed, you know? So like a bread, money, bakery bed. I guess you're more alluding to making money. Green elephant, green is money. Kale green, shit, healthy money, I guess. I don't know. But like the way it just kind of flows through. Queen, kind of my cakes, caught the cakes with me, cake, clap for me, get clap, blast for me. Clap the ground, clap back, and it just keeps going, and it just kind of flows. And it's like this, I feel like there's a lot of specifics that maybe could be dug out of these lyrics, but he's rhyming, and his focus on rhyming is incredible, and he's deliberately using certain words over and over again to kind of almost drill home how versatile you can make them, whether it's blue and just the way the sound blue comes and you can do so many things with it, or just the way that you can use these words to mean so many different things. I find it so impressive. Like he just kills it on that front, and his voice is just smooth. Like he's not only just killing it, but he's killing it in a way where he makes it look motherfucking easy. Chorus kicks back in, and then it just flows into a second verse where it kind of flows on through a little bit. I feel like there's a little bit more of some violence involved in it, as you got stuff like jelly, eat toes, shotgun to weed smoke, pop lock, pop clock, 45 shady from the D mode, Mo D, but she keep asking me for things more green, but Mo Green died asking for Mo Green, hold me. Anyway, so like you get the sense of just like this tension in the air, and like there's not everything's honest. There's like a risky business going on, and it's just kind of almost painting again this landscape is what I picture with my words. Like I feel like if I try to delve into the specifics of the language, it's a little bit challenging, mostly because I haven't sat on it long enough. But in general, it's just he says a lot, and I don't know, the way I perceive it, I just picture like this fast-paced life going on. In the third verse, he kind of plays back into the idea of being on the block, kind of being in a being in the hood. Like it's almost like he's making it abundantly clear. We on the block, black top on the block, we on the block, black, right back on the block, black on black, gold crosses, black on black. It broke backs, broke folks getting back on crack, and broke back, black back before 100 years or so. I'm like, it's just almost got this social commentary tone. It just kind of paints this picture of how people are stuck. Ultimately, I think after kind of telling us in a literal sense from a narrator perspective of where we are in the story, he follows this up and he brings us kind of into the tone of the story. This environment is fucking crazy, is I guess what he's trying to say. This is the city of almost desperation where things are fucking real. And we need to know that. People are coming for you because our protagonist, because I believe this album is a story. I'm going to say it now. And this was just kind of like some context in the story of what the tone is like. And I think it's important because as we kind of get into it, it's like almost saying, like how could you expect anything else to happen considering the environment that the person is in? And so I thought it was really fun to listen to. Unfortunately for this song's grade, the end part, the Lost Angels thing, where they just kind of have like this jaded tone and they repeat it for a while, did not sit 100% with me. So I gave it a 4.8 on 5. I do really, really enjoy this song, and I would highly recommend you check them out, especially if you're one of those people who believes that lyrical hip hop does not exist in 2019, because Blu Oh No is proving you wrong. All right, why don't we talk about how it never rains in South LA?
Southern Los Angeles. Yeah, with shots.
I love the premise of like the hook. It never rains in southern Los Angeles, where shots pop and put fear on the block, and they say that when it rains it's God's tears. Yeah, but it never rains in southern Los Angeles. And if I'm not mistaken, out there's like a literal drought like situation going on where like it almost literally never rains. And on top of that, if you take the idea of God crying because the tragedies of a situation are bad, being rain, then considering all the crazy shit that goes on in South LA, it's crazy, I guess, to Blu that God doesn't cry. Like, even though all these bad things happen, like busting shots and cops lost and jealous till it's us putting 4K down on the rims, and already the animosity of cops being jealous of wealthier black folk in the hood, and then almost creating this animosity between them in tense situations, you know. Rims swimming like fish on the well with the 110, steering wheel doing cartwheels, circle back again, I'm back again, but the rain keeps falling on my head like BJ time before the raw airs flip later, haters hate him, getting paper shipped by the ship. And again, I just get this picture, this imagery of him kind of skirting around. Now the cops is on one side, he's got competitive people trying to come after him on the other side, and at the end of the day, it just feels like God is not here, you know? I like when he says shit like, I'm ever tense. I'm always lit like July, get right before the 5th, on 5th with the spliff, I'll hit. So just that idea of the 4th of July being a place where people would, I would assume, get stoned and launch firecrackers. We don't do that in Canada because we go to places where the city launches firecrackers up in here. But yeah, thinking about staying out but not getting hit, because they say, you know, like, it never rains. So it's almost like the fact that you would have to decide, if I stay out tonight, I might die. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I hear some shit and it just makes me think about realities I don't have to face and whatnot. And then I feel like the song kind of flows on, and it's, again, a lot of really tight rhyming, like, finance bitches, finance hoes, firefighting, flying with the swisher, sweet meet my letters, smoked out coke bottle models come out. My models kind of like fire, ice hot, but it's cold. Seraros die, pop the 4 or 5 Glock for the cold. And it's like, you know, all that to like describe how with money he's getting hot girls and whatnot. So I can't say that the subject matter of this song is like bringing revelations to the table in terms of being new. But the way that he uses the language to paint pictures and to just put images into your mind, and to almost, again, make the album like kind of feel like this movie you're listening to and kind of flowing it along, I find it really impressive. Plus, I'm a sucker for like those little tight one-off lines, like, for real. Robbed and stole, sold dope, coke powder on pop at foes pop back, popos pop at the back of your dome. Like, this is pretty cool, right? Because not a lot of people, I think, are able to just kind of do shit like foes pop back, popos pop at the back of your dome. Like, literally, he put pop back, pop at the back. Like, these are like, it's just adding a couple little words to almost just rhyme the same thing with itself, but done in a way where it's just flowing so nice that it's just dope, instead of being something that's just fucking obnoxious to listen to. Third verse kind of comes in, focuses more on money, but it adds in some extra elements, right? Open my blinds, somebody watching me all the time, FBI, CIA, PVs, and private eyes, IRS checking on me with the tech, and by the side, crime fighters with no crime to fight, invent a crime, homicide, suicide, shoot the youth inside. Whew. So you got all these cops that are just kind of all the agencies, private people, etc., looking at them, especially if they've got some money going on in their life, to a point where it's almost like they're frustrated crime fighters, so they make up shit and kill kids and do a bunch of bullshit. And, like, I don't know, it's just a really cool thing. So if you think about the last song, it paints this gritty picture. Now it's like we've left the cityscape and like the panning scenes of what's going on, and we've kind of almost focused in on a person who's like in this environment trying to get the money, and just kind of showing you what the stress of their life is almost like, and what it would be like to be in that situation. I really enjoyed this song. I give it a 4.5. I definitely think this album starts off very strong, especially if you're on the lyrical front of things, but also the fact that it feels like a moving story. It's got to appeal, in my opinion, to the people into the story albums as well. Anyway, he gets joined by some friends as we talk about Round About Midnight.
I told her she ain't gotta ask me twice. I'm rolling, don't give a fuck if it's stolen.
So, in this song, you get the picture that they're in their car riding around, him and his boys, and like, because like previously it was almost touched on like the idea of, should I go out? You know, it doesn't rain, it's a scary idea. Here's all the things that might happen, and it's almost like Blue said, fuck it, I'm gonna go out. So he starts off like, around midnight, the block right, drive around Tristate, ignite the flame, put my brain in flight. And it doesn't really say a whole bunch going on, in my opinion. His crew's down, they fuck up MCs, they were super tight. He wants to like find some girl or whatever, as you get the sense. Sorry about that. Serving up bodies. MC's bag a body, like get a girl, bring her back to the hotel lobby where I probably beat it up because I can't eat it up. He's apparently not a fan of cunnilingus. He enjoys to just stick it in instead. You know, it gets a little bit fucked up. And I like he's like, where he goes, the rapper's delight is where I'm at in a windpipe. And right after the fizzite is when the night get bright. Drove round a bull looking for the hooker, about to pull up if her breast felt a little fuller. What I like the fact is how blunt the language is. Like, he's just looking for some random girl, and fuck it, if he's got to pay for it, whatever, he's just trying to nut. Like, there's almost not, like, a glorification to it. The beat's got this, like, dun, 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 dun kind of tone, so it just feels like this grind, like a guy's just, like, had a long day. He just wants to go out. He wants to go have a good time, meet a girl, get some shit going on. The chorus flows her in, you know, kind of shows them on their lifestyle. They fucking talented rappers. They doing their shit proper. They fly. Self Jupiter comes in, and his voice is really cool. It's very deep. It's very like fun to listen to next to Blues. And I think he raps just as fucking well. Like, I think his flow just fits proper on this beat. He says shit like, I want a slice of whatever. You got cracking in that Italian lever. That's a heat check. Before I even adjusted my sweat, you doing donuts while the streets wet. But I don't trip. It's essential. Just take out that slip differential. I mean, it's not like I'm never super that into I want to fuck songs. Like, I find a lot of them kind of like flossy and rhymey is just a weird tone for I want to fuck. And you're just kind of dancing around it, but they do a really good job with it. Like, she's one of my favorites. While I'm putting the flame across the blunt seams, it's where I want to dream about misting. I want to make that coochie Krispy Kreme. Like, it's fun, but like, if there are any ladies watching here, when you ladies hear this, is this sexy to you? Or like to the guys out there, is this meant to be a sexy song, or what's the tone here? I don't know. For me, it just kind of I don't get it. Abstract Rule's pretty fun. I really enjoyed at the end after he's talking about how he's going to bang up on the girl. So what you want from me? I'm like the fire of this country. I know, she said, just want to get inside and roll. I said, let's mob. I know in after hours we can hide in. Then after hours I would slide in. The homies laugh because they know where I've been. Too bad though, we never tell, so no one knows the details of how the night went. Now, I gotta give Abstract a lot of credit because I feel like for his verse, you get the sense that he wants to floss and he meets the girl and he alludes a good time, but he justifies his alluding because he's a bit of a gentleman and, you know, don't kiss and tell and shit. Overall, I thought it was cool because this song carries the story along. So, like, now we're going out, the night's very much beginning, and we know it's a night because the album, what the album title is, cruising in the car, etc. And then it's almost like we get to, like, a particular place as we move into Straight No Chaser.
She says she's spinning cause she working. She don't mind spinning it down when she find something worth it.
So, I mean, here it's just kind of like he's thinking about, you know, stress. He wants to kind of get out and have a little escape is what I get. So lick a little Los Angeles lean with the tool. Take a Tuesday, for instance. Every Tuesday you got to choose which tool you use. For these fools to get the news, it was the blues. Always got to give crews the blues, you know. So that whole first part kind of paints this picture again. Like, I'm thinking about how pensive it is. And I don't know. I like to picture that he got somewhere or he's still in the car and he's just kind of lost in his mind. And he starts picturing picturing Shaw Cruz, 1-2 time Penelope Cruz, Vanilla, Banana Yellow, Bear Bandana, Blue Blues, The Mood Change, Jeep Range, Caddy Coupe Ville, No Bills, So Real, I Only Reveal the Truth. You know, just kind of, I guess, shit's different now and you can get better girls. I'm not 100% sure. Sorry if I missed some shit. I know sometimes people will leave comments like, why do you talk if you don't know? Because I'm just trying to walk you through the story as I understand it, and I've heard the album for a day, even though it's been out for over a week. I just didn't know until like 2 days ago. Then you got the chorus, I'm that straight, no chaser, straight, no chaser. And what I get the sense of that is because it's fun, right? Got to play on the alcohol side of like drinking your shit with no chaser, and then the idea of him going for this girl and being fucking blunt. He's not into chasing people. He's just gonna tell this person where it is. We also see how that at the end of the first, Fern Chain goes swang swoop, tell her meet at the room, same room we always get, top floor by the pool. So he's cutting to the chase. He's going in. She got the room, but wanted dinner first. They go through a whole little conversation and whatever, and then just kind of almost settle like, I'm trying to max relax. I had a long ass week, and you know when you try to sack and the tax keep creeping, I keep my cash in a bag on a jag on the Ave in the parking lot next to the precinct on weekends. So it's almost like they discuss their money situation a bit in this verse, and it's like they're flossing. Like she's trying to like imply that she'll, I believe, pay for him to go out, and he's like, that's cool. I don't have any cash on me. It's over there, and he kind of like sets up where it all is I think the key takeaway is he talks a little bit too much to this girl. Again, if I messed something up, I apologize for that, but still, it's cool that he wants the girl while he's riding with the boys. Now he's going to get the girl, and it's almost like they're going to go out first and have a little situation, you know. And then the next track, I gave this song altogether a 4.5 because I thought it was cool. Oh, and if I forgot the grade for Round About Midnight, I gave that a 4.35, mostly because the beat got on my nerves a little bit. But for Straight No Chaser, it's a 4.5. I feel like the beat's really cool to listen to. It's just got this nice vibe. Like, it's got this, like, almost, I don't know if it's actual instruments or it's just sampling a bunch of actual instruments, but it's got such a cool feel to the sound of the album, like a consistency to it that carries over track, as well as the fact that like you've got this sense of a story evolving. I feel like at this point I'm just really into the album, and I can't wait to kind of understand where shit goes wrong, because I mean it's not going to be a story unless shit goes wrong. So the next one then is Boogie to Flex.
For the war, you better bring out your best straps. So bet that Boogie to Flex. You at the
So this is an interesting choice on a project. Unless I'm mistaken, Blue only does the hook on this. Boogie to Flex. You at the party and somebody try to test. Just two-step, throw the setup to the next. This is how a simple dance turned into a threat. You gotta... And I don't 100% know how this fits into the story, because he's just with the girl, or maybe he was out with the boys and now they're at the club and he was on the phone with the girl, but they're at that club they were at. So that whole last thing was him kind of hit up the girl at the club. That's how my version of the story is running. So now he's with the boys, and Cassius King with the $sign there comes in and goes two-step, and you rappers must got the memo. They just green light on you auditioning your demo tape while I'm in the venue. I'm macking on this Peruvian, a groupie all on my face. I'm repping my Crewian. Yeah, I came with Blue, but I won't give you no record deal. So you get the sense that they the hot shit, they with the real squad, they the boys, and everyone else is a bunch of chump suckers trying to get with Blue, trying to be really fucking cool. But reciting lyrics here ready, so if I ain't come for all that, come and catch this fade out the streets. Later I peeped him and his homies plotting some shit. I'm off a fifth, non-hesitant, they motioning, oh shit. So what's happening now is they tried to like come up to the Blue squad, and it turned out that they said no, and then they were a little bit hurt. Their feelings were hurt, so they went in the corner and wanted to like figure out how they're gonna come back. So moving on, you know, it's mob shit. They don't know who they're fucking with. They round up their homies. They pistol clap to the chest. How they connect with shit in thing to figure out where the rest at. Since you want to war, you better bring your best straps. So it's kind of painting like how easy a situation can get misunderstood and escalate to violence is what I think happens in that verse. The second verse has MED. You got a two-step with my weapon in the waist, drink lace with the ooh, and his lace is all blue. I ain't bang, I just came with him. That's my dude. Get off a little drink and start acting hella rude. Hella fools in his party from the other side. You know, so in this case, MED's like, I'm not really a gangbanger, but like, yo, I'm with these guys and the situation's happening, so just understand the situation. I like when he goes Pharaoh, bad and bougie, lil boozy with the gang ties, ducking for they shoot me, dedicated in their trueness. I mean, it's just the interesting juxtaposition combination of like having these guys ruling some shit, and then Bad and Bougie in a literal sense, because I don't know, the Migos, however you feel about the Migos, but it's an interesting idea what the song presents. Like, they're the new money, they're finally made it type shit. Lil Boozy with the gang ties, because Lil Boozy's super legit and whatnot. I don't know. So then it's almost like guys are coming at him, they're trying to snatch till the jacker snatches change. There's a little bit of a flux, a little fight or whatever that happens, and then it's just kind of again showing how shit can escalate in a serious way. And then we got MED on the third verse again. I think I'm going with Genius, so if I fuck up which one's on which verse, it was hard for me to tell. I definitely believe that King Cassius was the first one. 1 2-stepping with the weapon, and just kind of, she thought she had got me hard with the 9-inch raw, tossed out the bottle, block party wearing camouflage, flex any disrespect, get it popping on the set, mob little homies can't control them all, reason uninvited, we arrive, and even flyers got us blacklisted, ain't our fault. And so you just, I don't know, I feel like this song is kind of bringing forth the notion again that wherever they go, their reputation is so fucked up they can't get places, people know who they are. If you fuck with them, they're going to take you out. And, yeah, overall, if you basically have the wrong people at your party, it could go real bad. That's what I'm picturing, and I guess it's relevant because it's going to build up to having this little conflict, this little scuffle at the club that takes place as Blues guys is there and kind of piss off some people, I guess. And it's really relevant to what happens in the next song, so it really does move the story forward. I really enjoy the vibe of it. These guys all rap like in a particularly similar skill level to me, in the sense that none of these features to me feel like features nobody wants. It doesn't feel like guys who can't keep up. Everybody's kind of flowing it over, and I like the idea of how it's not even like Blue in a sense that kind of starts the conflict that takes place, so the character Blue's playing. It's the people around Blue that have a situation escalate at this club, and then it kind of scuffles into what I believe happens next. So I gave this song a 4.5. It's really fun to listen to. The story is really cool, and anyway, it flows really well into Champagne.
Fly guy arrived right at 5 in the AM. This is my room. Skyline view.
So at a certain point, I did say you knew something was going to have to happen. So the real catalyst, so we know that the guy's looking to get some pussy. His boys had a little scuffle in the club. Some shit's happening, and so he's got enemies. You know he's in an environment where super bad things are going to happen. So he meets the girl, and he starts spitting game at her. Now, whereas, like, the other lines where I was questioning if the shit was sexy, like, damn, baby, you so fine, you can't define time. Webster's took a look at her once and had to redefine fine. That's fucking cool. That's nice. That's like using linguistic dictionary nerdy rhymes to flirt up the girl. That's cool. Fly guy arrived right at 5 in the AM. This is my room on the skyline view that you could stay in. So it's the same place, you know, linked. This is the same room that he was describing earlier when he was calling the girl. Somewhere I can stay and play with you till the day starts, plus I never break wind. Too cool. I guess it's important. Farting is probably not the sexiest move. I don't know if I'm missing the point of that one. Anyway, so he's got his jewelry and shit, and then he gets into the pool. He turns around, his jewels is gone, the girl's gone. His watch is now missing. He can't remember how much time has passed. And right when he thought to run full for my 4 or 5, when he went to go for his gun, he got knocked the fuck out by 4 or 5 guys. Right when I thought to run for my full 4 or 5, wow, I fucked it up again. You know what? I'm going to give that up. You get the gist. He wanted to go for his gun, and he got knocked out for 4 or 5 guys. 4 or 5 guys. Good rhyme. It was fucking cool. Like, because all of a sudden it just feels like we're getting real into his story. It also starts off kind of like you're getting fucked up, like, a little bit. And then you have this little Action Bronson cut from his track Consensual Rape. I'm kinky, I'll hit it even if it's stinky. Put him in the shower, make the pussy brand new. And that's an interesting point. If she is smelling bad, instead of whining about it, just tell her to take a shower and then hit it. You know? Anyway, I get this a 4.75. It was really smooth, but really it just kind of like picks up the story. It's like something specific happens in the way it's very short, right? So you're used to kind of like these full-length songs on this project. Nothing's been short before. And the song just kind of stops abruptly. But in the context of what's going on, you're picturing him macking on the girl, and then you just almost picture him getting knocked the fuck out. Anyway, it rolls right into the robbery.
For that, let me get that hat too. See these tattoos, this is album news. Nigga, let me see your...
So in this case, you have Tristate, who kind of starts us off. And he's just kind of spitting at him. First things first, where you from? You must be dumb pulling up in the slums. And he kind of paints the picture like, yo, how did you think that you were going to get this fine-ass girl by the pool all by yourself? Like, we kind of left some clues. If you were really paying attention, you would have known this. If you were a smart guy, you would have figured this out. And give me that hat too. See this tattoo? This is avenues. Let me see your eyes when I'm talking to you. This is Pyru's finest and set you up behind this. Not to mention, she a motherfucking minor. You fucked up. You fucked up for real. So let me get that backpack belt and made it eel. And then he kind of, as we know, there's money here and shit. He's like, yo, I know there's some shit under your floor. You're giving it to me now. You kind of fucked it up. You're dumb. And I just love it, right? Because it's like you're picturing Blue, Sarah, and then a new person who hasn't been on this album before, Tristate, playing the role of this fucking villain guy. One of the guys coming at him, just talking shit at him, like what's going on. And then what Blue does is he kind of taps into Regulate by Warren G. They got guns to my head. I think it's going down. I can't believe this happened in my hometown. They took my crown. They even took my jewels. Took down one shot. Even took my shoes. But kind of rolls it down like that. And like I just thought it was really cool. You feel them broken, like getting robbed, everything kind of fucked up, you know. And then you got Montage 1 doing the last verse. Ante up, yop that fool for the off-white J1s and the big bright jewels, stocking out your stew with the goons, waiting on a false move when we empty the room. And it just kind of like fills it up again. So it's like you picture the first guy talking shit, then Blue kind of sitting there moping a bit, the next guy kind of following up and taking everything that's fucking there. I advise you not to reach or you'll be vegetable stew. It's an inside job thanks to Oh No. We got photos, which is cool, right? Because Oh No's the beat maker. So the fact that the guy making the album with Blue like set him up in the context of this world is pretty fucking meta. We got photos, you game goofy bro. So it's like not only are they robbing him, but they're letting him know that like we got you on tape trying to fuck a minor. Watch yourself. Don't even try to come for us. No mask off. I see the future. You know, like that's a great little line there because Future wrote mask off, but in the context of it, it's like you can't hide. You can't. I don't know if I fully get it in the vernacular of rap, but it's not like you can just take off your mask and everything's gonna be okay. It's not like this is some real fucking shit. And if you listen to what we're doing, we won't kill you. And then he goes, oh shit, I hit the tripwire. So I guess there's something that kind of saves it. And then they got to skedaddle because the tone changes a little bit, and Blue in the next song seems to have gotten away. So you get this whole just sense of Blue getting robbed here. And the way it's done to me is just really well done. I think it's a beautiful counterpart to the last song. Like, to me, I was just fucked up at this point. I was like, what just happened? It's like the whole context of the beginning part. Like normally I don't always do this, but I had to go back and like replay this album again once I understood the whole story, just to like really enjoy the story, because I was so focused going through it track that like it really just, I got delighted when you get to this part, and it just really picks up the way it does. Anyway, the next one is the liquor store.
Gee, I'm getting weed about to air one. Fuck that fist fighting, we gun fighting, ain't no fair ones.
So now, you hear the phone ringing, and Blue is calling up Donel Smokes, and he's just like, man, got me fucked up. Think they can get me for my shit, busted my shit up and shit. And, you know, he's fucking ranting. He's not even trying to be articulate or anything. Call up my dude, pick up the fucking phone, pick up, I'm about to fuck shit up. Can't believe these think they finna come open my shit. Yo, Smokes? And guy answers the phone. He's like, what up? My phone buzzing, you good? What's the science? You know, what's happening? And then he tells them what's going on. You know, I told you about that person, but they fucking did this shit. They jacked me. Then they're like, basically Donel is like, or Smokes is like, yo, let's get Cassius in on this. And then they got Cassius, and he's like fucking mad, and he's like, yo, let's get revenge and let's do it. And then they fucking kind of the call ends. Like, they're ready to go. They're committed to the plan. They go and get their revenge. And then it just ends with this little interlude that just sounds like this crackhead lady that is mad about getting told she smells like shit. I may have misunderstood the end. It just kind of seemed like a little cut, like of the little comedic scene to break up a tense moment. But yeah, so if you think about what just happened, the last 3 songs, Dude meets the girl, gets set up, gets extorted, gets robbed, and then was the other guy, for whatever reason, they trip an alarm, they get out, and then he calls up his boys, they get fucking riled up and ready to go. I give it a 4.2. The song part, as good as everything we've been hearing, fucking stellar. The interactions of these guys, the different characters that we're getting introduced to on the album, the fact that it's actually intended to be a story, blowing my mind. That little interlude, kind of annoying. Just my thoughts. Anyway, that's fine because after the liquor store, it's confirmed that they've made the call.
This the kind of violence keep the scientists debating. Nature of the nurture make a human wanna hurt you, wanna murder.
So Blue starts off this battle cry. It's like they made the call, literally on the last one, they made a phone call, and in a sense it's like made the call for like the battle cry to rile up everybody. Now I gotta give Blue some credit. He basically counts up in every line, and then also references guns kind of relating to those counting up. And in a song about a battle cry where you're about to go cause some revenge, that's pretty cool. Like, here's what I mean. I got 222s for the fools that want to fool. That's 2. 3, 357, send a reverend straight to heaven. 3, cock 4, 44s on the foes on my toes. Cock 5, 45s for the guys that carry 9s. You get the point. He counts up the whole way through, all the way to like 12 gauges for the haters playing on a player, 13 for disciples that cross on my neck. Rec 9 cal shots, semi-automatic tip, pop 600 rounds out the Uzi loader clip. Just so that you get, that's what happens after he counts to 12 and he just fucking explodes into like automatics and like, I don't know. You get the sense he's ready to shoot a fucking person. Then there are other people on this. We have Cashish King, Definite, and MED. So I'm going to assume the order they appear in the feature list is the order of their verses. And if I'm wrong, again, I'm sorry. It's just not there for the people who think I should have Googled it. I did Google it. It's just not telling me which order they are all in. Still, the second verse follows suit, man. You like the skywriting blood, let's increase the murder rate, and this the kind of bash that keeps the madness circulating. They drove up, they tote guns and tons for the Satan. This the kind of violence that keeps the scientists debating. So you get this sense that they want to commit like this kind of mass murder level revenge to the point where like even the news is going to pick it up, where the sociologists are going to write papers on it, where people are going to debate it at like a fucking huge level. That's the rage we're talking about right here. Nature or the nurture make a human want to hurt you. Is this just how we're born, or is this the environment that we live in? What makes us want to murk you instead of merge or form a bigger square? And in a sense, it's almost like commenting that this is stupid in its divisiveness, but like at the same time, this is the mentality that's going on. So I thought it was really fucking cool. I mean, as a side note, this album is obviously trying to tell the story of how a person can go from having a normally good night just trying to get a girl to a bunch of fucked up shit happening, and because of the environment they're in, the likelihood of something like this happening is just significantly greater than maybe living in Montreal, Quebec, like I do. Anyway, it kind of describes some more violence, unapologetic violence. The third verse follows suit with the same kind of thing. I believe in this case it's definite, but that's click, back, kill. What a start. It's just kind of blunt to the point. Like, you just picture the gun pop, now the person's dead. Ain't stop until I pull up in a leer. 21 for the soldiers no longer here. Fallen, never forgotten. The cause for this for profit. It's hard to make it legit. I've exhausted all of my options. So you got the mix of, maybe it's some stereotypical shit, but like I said, this album was about creating a generalized persona in a sense. So again, back to the context setting, it's like you're in a place where violence is rampant. You are trying to get revenge for your people who have been killed. And on top of that, how can you make it legit when there's not really any good options out there? Now, I'm not from LA, but when I've looked at the LA gang maps and realized how fucking crazy it can be, where like you can't even get to the grocery store without risking your life and shit. I don't know, man. Listening to some stuff here, it's like listening to this album is really, to me, it's a cool eye-opening experience. Maybe it's not new information, but the way they paint this story out is really interesting. Just hearing each guy's kind of different take on the perspective of it. Like, if money ain't a problem, homie, then keep your 7 cents. It's 5 more cents than allowed. Killing sense has finally come to your senses, and now deal with it on my own, writing sentences down. Like, that's some sick shit, Definite, if that's who did that verse. It's fucking cool. It just kind of shows people have opinions. People have this, like, certain thing, and it's like people are also struggling. So having even me commenting on this album, somebody might be like, who the fuck are you to talk about it? Well, I'm just fucking in awe about how well this story is crafted, okay? It's fucking dope to me. Still, I like the fact that this guy's putting it all into his music. He's throwing it out there. And then in like the 4th verse, it's almost like you have to kind of work together to keep your shit proper, to keep it flowing, you know? Chose squads wise, water fire while skies lit, police sirens, live wire, little big 9, times 4, 36 in the key, breed money, honey, sweet breath, easy on the beat, teach knowledge, leak, bleed, I bet he seek, preachers pray for my defeat, my seat in the bleachers, peace, keep peace. I don't know, man, it's just brilliant. It's just like, you understand, it's like forcing you to understand that, like, in this world you kind of have to do this drug thing, you kind of have to be in this lane, because considering what's available to you, and I'm not saying you have to, I'm not really there, I'm saying that's what it's being conveyed. It's like just a violent, serious world. I don't know, I feel like it's intense. It just kind of flows. Everyone's ready to go. This is some fucking violent, like, ready to fight music. Not like violent in the sense that they're being super, like, overly descriptive with it, but I mean, that's the point of this song. It's their call to arms. You picture them up in their fucking car with their guns ready to perform a drive-by or some bullshit like that, and kind of run with it, because revenge is being had and they want you to understand it. That's what it is, you know? I gave this song a 4.5. I really thought it was cool. I really enjoyed it. Anyway, the next song on the album is called Stalkers.
Niggas used to run with young kids still in clothing. Now we in the open, got them in the scope.
So this has like this really creepy, I'm doing it wrong, but kind of like this creepy suspense beat that like tingles on through and like sets a tone. And now it's just Blue and Donel Smokes going back and forth on this. And it's like, you know, Peep, listen, the sky cloudy, Zamir to Chibo, what's this vibe? Ugly and no brainer, no breather where I'm from. It don't take shine to recognize the sun. I let him slide, shot in the ride when he flashed a gun, and that's a no-no. Don't show it unless you ain't gonna shoot it. A fake dog to these streets, a C's newly recruited, young and stupid. My homie lost his life doing the same thing. Rules from the hood, whether or not you gangbang. So now they're in the car, they see a little dude on the street, flashes his gun, I guess he's trying to look tough, and they're just saying, man, that's not okay. You know, if you're gonna pull your gun, you better use it. Everybody has to know it, whether or not you're connected. That's just the rules to the situation. And then we come in with the next guy, and I know because I know him, used to run with young kids stealing clothing, now we in the open, got him in the scope, but I'm not trying to pop, I'm trying to knock his mouth open. Talking so much shit already, sold all the jewelry, counted all the fatty, what a slick motherfucker, can't be fake, he touched up, if I shoot him in the foot, you down to tape him up. So I guess this is the guy who robbed him in the first place, and they see him, and he's a fake little gangster, already spent all the money that he stole on jewelry, he's just kind of looking like basically he's just a little bit of a poser. And then Blue's like, yo, what? You know me, I'm with the business. One scene, final cut. Well, I'd rather kill him after we could actually fuck him up. Fucking bastard out there thinking you could come up with my what? You know, so like, they just want to take him out. I think Blue wants to take him out and the other guy wants to torture him. And they kind of debate this a little bit. Basically want to teach him a lesson. Well, I think Blue wants to teach him a lesson. And then we have Donel who wants to just fucking kill him. Pull the gun on him, so he's going to kill him instead and make the point. And yeah, so they're just kind of setting up this thing where they're kind of diving in and like now they're ready to go. So I don't know if this is the actual guy that robbed them, or if it's like they're so charged looking for this person that anybody that broke a rule, like flashing a gun or doing something silly, becomes an instant fucking target, you know? I just really enjoyed this song. I feel like it moved along. Like after they're on the battle cry, everybody's looking for the people. You just feel they're in the car. They're looking for anyone. They're just deciding, am I going to kill that person? Nah, we shouldn't kill him. Like, that's where they're at. That's where they're ready to go with this. It really does move the story along. As much as I like the creepy tone the beat says for the song, I felt it wasn't my favorite one to listen to, so I gave this song a 4.35. All right, What happens after you do some stalking? Well, apparently you pop shots.
Pop heads, get knocked, drop, put in a hole, bury, remember them, forgot, don't be.
So this one just kind of, I feel like, describes what happens when shootings go down. So I guess in the context here, it's like they're shooting or they're preparing to do the shooting, but still we're getting a little deep dive into it. Heads get popped open, one shot, long scope, shell poke, blowholes through the flesh, bullets go through the neck, knives poke through the back, throat, cheek to cheek, kings get beheaded and queens put to sleep. It just takes this tone, describing almost just different figures who have been killed and assassinated, like John the Baptist, Malcolm Martin, Huey Fred, you know, just different people who have been killed, and just almost violence and how death happens. Slugs to the brain, full clip unloaded to the frame, no gun to explain or names. You know, it's just at the end of the day, when death happens, it's over. People get fucking killed. And in the context of the song where we've been approaching at it, it's weird to almost take this tangent to describe like how serious just like guns are, you know. People then in the chorus the second time we have almost an ad-lib situation. People start running because somebody's out dumping, bodies drop out of duck and nobody wanna be hunted. You realize the time's crazy, hammers so common lately, raising the body count on the daily, living where there's no safety. So like, again, this is an environment where people literally on a regular basis have to deal with shootings and violence and people literally dying, even innocent people getting clipped by stray bullets and shit. I don't know, it's fucked up. Then in the second verse, car pop, pills pop, lock, but don't pop Glocks. Cause when them shots pop, heads get knocked, drop, put in a hole buried, remember them, forgot, don't be trying to block the shot when they cocked you in the headlight, fashion, mag head. So it's almost like this shit's real, like, you know, maybe we shouldn't be killing people, but so like it's almost like with pills and everybody getting fucked up, you can do whatever you want. You can make your car pop, but you know, don't pop Glocks, because when you do, motherfuckers die, you know, like actually just die. Too many lives to meet the pine and orange shoot, still alive, choose a side, do or die, meaning kill or be killed, and I will survive. Dark side all time, arm yourself one time, because it only takes one time to leave your ass behind the curtains closed on you for a very long time. The one gun don't stop the show when it's showtime. So, and even in a sense, right, like, if you kill, you could end up in jail, or you're going to get killed. Having a gun or not having a gun doesn't almost make a difference. I mean, it just feels fucking bleak, right? Like, this is this situation where, again, we've gone through the story where all of a sudden we can see how people could get put to a point where they're willing to fucking kill. They're in an environment where people are willing to just flash guns to look cool, even if they're not willing to do it. We already know from that moment in the club that tempers is hot, and now we're just taking a look at what happens when motherfuckers actually shoot each other, and how not simple it is to make the decision to be involved in that. I think it's really powerful, and I think it's really, really good. It's a really good song. It's really interesting, and I give it a 4.5. Like, again, if you're into the lyrical shit and you're into the conceptual shit, I don't see how you could not love this album. Anyway, the next one on the project is Do the Crime.
Goods and dope, all he had was a bag of shoes from Jack and me and my jewelry.
So, in this song, it's like we're doing it. We've talked about it, we've stalked our prey, we're ready to go, we've psyched ourselves up to kill, and now we're actually doing the deed and killing it. We laid him out nasty, broken glass shots in his ash cheeks, holes in his face. It was all good last week. Last thing he said was, I'm dead. Couldn't even move, deaf. Put the gun straight to the dude's head. Spread knowledge, lead polished his mind state. Head demolished, mind ate, blindfold his blonde date. Threw her in the closet, made a spread of his partners. So he's fucking killed him, killed everyone else, asked for the money, but he didn't have it, you know, nothing was really there, so he took $20, and that was kind of what it spread gasoline over everything, lit a match and fucking burned them all down. Then across the street, after the fucking, like, the chorus is just, you do the crime, you do the time, here they come, here they come. Fire trucks, sirens, ambulance, police. So after you fucking burned down a house and killed some people, all the authorities are gonna come. And then in verse 2, they're across the street, hid behind all the people coming out to see a house gulfed in flames. Nobody's to claim, somebody's fucked with the wrong gang. So it's basically they're just now watching kind of the chaos. No one really reported the shots. No one really noticed anything in terms of the killing because there was a silencer involved. But basically what happens is as they pull out of the car, so they get away with it. They go across the street, get in the car, they get away in a sense. They start driving up, but then as soon as they do that, the cops kind of pull them over and open up the trunk, and I saw some blood on the sneakers, so they're like, yo, that's some fucked up shit, what's going on? They catch them, open up the trunk, see all the guns and shit, see all the shit, and then next thing they know, they're basically getting arrested, and now there's some bad shit going on. If you ain't got the money, fuck detectives, because apparently, I guess if they were rich or they had the money in that moment, they might have been able to bribe their way out of that situation, but since they couldn't, it gets clipped. And that's kind of what happens in the story, which is a natural evolution to burning down a fucking house and whatnot. I suppose you would get arrested at some point. I don't really know. I'm certain some people get away with it. Still, I thought it was really riveting. It's really fun to listen to. It's like we've finally reached this pivotal moment, and then they get caught, right? Which is such an interesting point for the story. So I give it a 4.5 on 5. And it's like one fucked up night so far, right? This is all, in my opinion, just one night. And we've gone from just going out trying to get some girls to now getting arrested for fucking killing people and shit. And all of this has happened in the last 13 songs. And that's pretty amazing as far as like an album goes. So why don't we move on then to what happens after you get arrested? And there is the murder case.
Before sat heaven sent. Somebody put a price on my halo. The game is to be.
So this is an interesting song because in the context of the album, he's kind of like at jail and shit, right? Murder is the case, and it's pulling up on like the Snoop Dogg song, I guess. And so John Barnes versus L.A. County. Heard the streets got a bounty for the words in my mouth. Peace reads, rest in peace. My heart shattered in pieces. Homies already posting the posthumous pieces. In my mind, I'm a mirror on the wall. I can hear my whole heart and soul saying, fuck y'all. So here it's like he's gotten arrested, and immediately all of the people that are with him are basically treating him like he's dead, like putting out his music now that he's gone, down to like having those RIP murals painted after somebody dies. So in a sense, he's feeling betrayed by everybody he knows. Back to having no reason to bust off one felony and you don't get to have a gun law. You don't know. You could be gone in a blink. Children didn't make it home, but they're all on TV. That's an interesting point, because now he realizes even though these people might come at him and shit, he may as well be dead because he can't have a gun anymore legally, so he's not protected in that regard. If he gets clipped with a gun, it's a big fucking problem, so it's now super fucking illegal for him to protect himself. And then he brings up some shit. Children didn't make it home, but they're on the TV. My daughter 1 year older than Jay-Z's, and every year child support is running me 8 G's. Wallet in my pocket, but I can't pay to feed my daughter off the bottle. Ain't seen her baby teeth. Whole world see me smiling on the cover of my album, but I'm walking on my house like Malcolm. Murder. And so you just got to imagine the stress, right? Like, he loses money to child support. $8,000 a year is pretty significant, and that's a real fucking believable number. I know people who give like $800-900 a month just for child support. And I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm saying I just know people who do it. So if you can't afford to see your kid and it's already complicated and shit, it just adds this context. And then I like that the whole world see me smiling on my album cover, because when he did do Below the Heavens, he's just got this happy looking face, even though he's maybe not. But when he leaves his house, he feels anxious, like Malcolm X. And Malcolm X describes just the high level anxieties that he faced at the end of his life, like to the point where he would only sit facing doors because he did not want to have his back turned to a door. Anyway, so he's up on there for being jail, and then it's like he actually did kill somebody once, almost had to put the body in a trunk. Drunk, spent the night before smoking blunt, spike punch, shot out the rearview mirrors with the dice in the front. 6 months for them devilish hell is this evidence, hunched on my shoulders all before that heaven sin. So they're able to find these darker things from his pants, some shit. They're kind of almost making it up, making it look a lot worse, is what I took from that. In verse 2, it's got some interesting points. The plaintiff got the whole nation waiting, impatient for me to get shot by a cop or some hating. So it's almost like everyone, because he's such a villain, wants him to fucking die. Like, they don't know what my repertoire and what I rep it for. We got weapons drawn. One more step, Mr. Barnes. We thought killing children would make you more calm. That was fucking strong to me, at least, because he's almost pointing out that like his subservience, his like they want him to just be subservient to what they want, and like basically to the point where he calls out like the way they kill teenagers and shit. Like, what, you think we're not gonna take you? We're willing to kill fucking kids. You better be calm. That's the approach we have taken. Like, it's just really strong. Especially, it's almost like a guy. So it's almost like murder's the case they gave you, whether you go to jail or whether you get out, because the situation is you're branded, you're now done. And to the point where if like even people are gonna kill you after, your reputation's ruined and it's fucked up. The Count of LA versus John Barnes, trying to cripple my arms so I can't write songs, trying to intimidate my moms because they killed Trayvon, throw their load on my lawn like I'm the one doing wrong. It ain't a man on earth that would ever back down from. You think I'm a punk because his 4 pounds spun some don't jump, some don't run, some get killed and wasn't scared of the gun, but I ain't never tried to kill a man in 33 years to the day my mama had to cry burgundy tears. And I don't 100% know what that burgundy tears line is, but it almost pictures his mom dying in a situation. So, like, going through, this person has always been a clean and legitimate person in a sense, try to live proper. But let's say somebody shot his mom and she's got bloody fucking tears coming out of her eyes and shit. Well, that might inspire a person to all of a sudden snap and go a little bit crazy. End of the day, you just kind of end up in this thing where he's got this gun charge and he's facing murder, and all it takes is one guard to take a life from you. It's crazy. They murdered you and framed me. So maybe in the context of the story, he didn't actually do the crime or some situation. I don't know. I feel like he is making a larger social commentary point, but still, in the context of the story, he's he's up for murder, and this is kind of exploring again the circumstances, how it came to be, but also the tone of how it might feel being in that situation, taking everything into account. I thought it was very brilliant. I thought it moved the story along in a very fun way, so I gave it another 4.5. I'm really loving how this album is wrapping up at this point. It's like you just can't wait to see what happens next. And so track 15 has him Facing Time.
An FBI investigation start before pre-trial plus prior convictions on more than.
I mean, this song is pretty straightforward. It's about a minute and a half long. It starts off, they said I'm facing 25 to L. They got me up in Linwood in a holding cell, took all his information, locked up, no cock, got jumped 3 times, got to finally call my lawyer, and he says I can't save you. I'm facing 4 counts for first degree. That's 2 deputies, the victim 2, and a 4th person. So 4 people have died, including 2 cops and the person they're after, apparently, that he's murdered. The FBI investigators start before a pre-trial, plus prior convictions on more than 4 counts. So basically, he's got a bunch of shit. He's got 2 strikes pending already. No bail is automatic. The judge is finna let me have it. They're sending me to the pen till the trial begins, and I probably won't see my baby or daylight again. So he's fucked. The lawyer's like, I can't do shit. And now he's got to realize that he may never get out. He may get locked up in like the most solitaries. He may get fucked, and he may never even get to see his kid. Just crazy to think about. And especially like look, if somebody like me went ahead and committed some fucking murder, I get your point, man. I deserve that serious punishment, in my opinion, to a higher degree than somebody living in the environment that's been described earlier in this song. I mean, this was a little short thing, and just kind of like the trial just happened. Now we're getting the sentencing. He's going to jail, and that's just kind of what happens there. So I'm still feeling it. I'm still feeling the flow. I like that he's changing it up a little bit. It's almost like a lighter song in a sense, and the tone and the way he delivers it, while still being fucking real with it. So I'm into this one. 4.5 on 5. And then what happens when you're in jail? Well, apparently y'all make a Cypher.
Pipe down when I say lights out. It's lights out, boys. Damn. Banging the set.
So there are a few people featured on this song. We have Playa, Haze, Ayun, Bassa, Jabi, Carl, Rowe, LocalBlac, and my absolute favorite name, Mike Holden. Like spelt like my name, Holden, but like Mike Holden. Dope name. You fucking cool. I don't know which one you are, Mike Holden, but you're fucking cool. So this song is pretty nifty in structure. So it's a jail cipher. and it's like each person in the verses is taking on the perspective of a different prisoner with a different story, with the chorus being a fucking guard. So like, I can hear you, inmate, you need to shut up. I'll throw you in there with them white boys, you getting fucked up, and you know you're getting searched in the morning. Another word I might get to the warden. So you get the sense that like, shut up, do what I say, or you know what? Oh, you would say you're black, we're gonna throw you in with the white boys, the Aryans, they're gonna fuck you up. And if you don't listen to us, your life's in fucking danger. You're getting searched. If you get lippy with me, and you know, you better shut the fuck up when it's lights down, because otherwise, so you just get this dehumanizing, like, we are not afraid to cross lines to treat you the way we want. So in verse 1, the dude kind of gets clipped on looking like somebody else. So it's like he didn't actually do it. He kind of got clipped on something, heard a situation, so he passes by. Maybe he did the drive-by. I don't want to say he didn't definitively, but they go, they flash, I hit the gas, you know them cameras in the dash offer, so I dance in my Carl Lewis shit, scuffed up my newest Kates, fucked him up, ripped my knitted, lost my fitted, ain't that some shit, back in this bitch, fit the scripts, saying I'm that, well, see what happens when my lawyer gets back. So he's kind of like stuck there because he looks like the person, and then he's gonna have to deal with it, but that's what happens. In the second verse, it's like unnecessary searches and shit over people was kind of what leads to this one. They want to take our arms, but they twist your arm. Now you want a gun. Did I kill my son? I don't know for what. They pop up my trunk. Boys are back in town on the black and brown. He ain't had no strap got clapped because his seatbelt wasn't strapped down, and some of these boys in blue are some traffic clowns. So you get the sense that the guy got clipped on something, mostly because of a fucked up traffic stop with an illegal search that led to a different situation, or at least that's what I took from it. Either way, everybody out there knows that that shit really happens, and so I thought it was interesting to just hear like the different prisoners around Blue that are kind of giving their different stories. The next one is kind of like he sold some drugs and he got clipped for it, but no one's around now that he needs help, and he's kind of morose and wondering, did he even get set up? Did people, like, I don't understand how the situation could be. All the people that I helped, all the people that I gave for, where are they now that I'm kind of locked up in a situation? Verse 4 has a guy who, like, you know, robbed a bank with a skill saw. I don't know what that means really. He's making shanks out of milk straws, so he's in jail now. He got caught. He's willing to fuck around like a Black Panther. Only difference is I had to go to the side with the Peckerwoods. So here you have a guy who's like from the hood. He respects the shit. You know, he's a white dude. So they sent him to like the white guys, where he basically gets beat the fuck up, and almost get the sense he gets raped and shit and like shoved in a toilet, and they get like marked up, and he just kind of sits there wondering what would happen if they knew he liked the hood. And it had in here, it's red versus blue like it's Halo. And I'm like, that's funny. The guy just literally made a red versus blue joke, which is a show that is in a Halo map with a bunch of Halo characters voiced by some goods. Either way, I think it's Rooster Teeth. Was it Rooster Teeth that did that? I think it was them. Anyway, I tried to tell them I was innocent, but they ain't knowing. The juries ain't believe what I say, so they're back in jail, and that's the situation. Verse 5 is more of a Latino flavor and kind of looking at how ICE and immigration situations kind of fuck up people. Same kind of thing, but it just feels like instead it's like, oh, you're a Mexican, you might be a fucking illegal, so we're gonna clip you, and the same kind of shit. And then Blue is at the end, and so I guess the other guys are just there, and then Blue just kind of spitting about his shit, and then all of a sudden he gets let out. So I guess instead of getting into some shit in jail and whatever, he gets escaped. His bail's been lifted, so he can get out now. And that's just kind of how the song ends. And Blue's verse is pretty solid. I really enjoyed listening to it. I guess he's just kind of happy he doesn't have to stay locked up. Either way, kind of commenting on the corruption of the police and how bullshit it all is. Anyway, I don't want to go too much more into it, because I feel like I've lost my train of thought on this one. Still, I gave it a 5. This might be one of the coolest songs on the album, because in a lot of senses, it's like, I don't know, it's like a lot of Cypher like verses from perspectives in jail, in the context of Blue being in jail after getting clipped on this murder case and shit. And then yeah, so he goes through all that, And then he gets let out at the end, and you get this cheeky ass fucking, well, don't you come back again, little skit. And then it goes into the final song on the album, which is called Fresh Out.
Crime route, slime job, but the right mob gotta do it if they try to rob again. It's they keep.
So now he's out, and like the beat's got this more fun, like celebratory tone, and it's got a couple of short verses with the hook just being like, I'm fresh out, like I'm feeling good, I'm fresh out of jail, I'm ready to get back at it. But like for real, it just feels like he's ready to get back at it. Like fresh out, roll out, how it's time to dough out, pimps pull your house out, jackers pull your chrome out, Bill's back home so you know it's back on. Bill pull a 4 out, he gonna leave your back blown, act wrong, clean it up, act like you ain't going back in. Ever gain if you play to win, ever spin, every day I make cake. And then it just feels like, so you come out and you behave in a way like you're going to clean up and do it all proper, but really at the end of the day, you're going to just keep paper chasing. And then he kind of flows on in the second verse, ride out, now it's time to grind out, lost a couple, but we double back on the crime route, slime job, but the right mob got to do it. If they try to rob it again, it's the kids with the music, shooting, looting, people doing what they doing. Just another day in LA. You can catch me cruising on the freeway, grooving on my free day, doing illegal shit, drinking in the whip, smoking trees, blazing, moving. And then, yeah, third verse, he's macking on a girl or whatever. And it just feels like at the end of this story, when the person gets out of jail, they just get right into it. Like, that's how the story started, getting out there, getting a little riled up, a little drinking, ready to go. And then, you know, trying to find a girl, and then it just kind of cascaded into a situation. So in a sense, you get through the whole journey only to get out and get right back at it, because if you remember the context of where this guy's at, there aren't necessarily a lot of legal means to deal with the situation. So therefore, right back into the rat race, right back into it. And we know things now, like he's not supposed to have a gun, he's not supposed to, but what's he going to do because of the situation he's in? Everybody's coming for you. People know who you are. And as we know, when he went in, it's like everybody kind of came at him like he was fucking useless and dead. And so I liked how it ended in terms of just the idea. It's very dark and real, even though it's got a happier tone. I give it a 4.25 because as a song, I do like it a little bit less. It kind of felt like, I don't know what I was hoping for the album closer of this, but it would have been cool to have like maybe just an extra little minute at the end where he goes back into like that kind of tone he did in the intro and like closed it out proper as the credits roll. But you do kind of picture the credits rolling on this, like he's sitting in the whip, smoking a blunt, going down, finding a honey, and everything's hunky-dory, even though it's not. And I think that's what it is. It's like, even though he gets out, it's just not over, and it's just back at it again, and it's kind of a bleak ending, but it's real. Anyway, so that's the end of my review of Blu Oh No's A Long Red Hot Los Angeles Summer's Night. This album got a 4.51 from me. I am really impressed with it. So on the one hand, it's very consistent in rapping style. So the way Blu spits over most songs is really similar. And if you're the kind of person that really requires a lot of diversity in sound, I don't know if that's what this album brings to the table. But if you're the type of person that wants to see how albums can be used differently or tell bigger stories, I think this is a cool concept album. I think walking us through both the environment of how you can create a person who gets locked up to walking us through just one night that goes from a person who wanted to get a girl to getting locked up to getting out to right back at it again. Paints the cycle, and it just feels super real to me. It just feels super authentic, and it feels like the role of this story is not to glorify this lifestyle per se, but to again reiterate that in this day and age where some of the shit is still very rampant, maybe we as people who are listening, you know, somebody who might be in Canada can hear a project like this, have like an explanation to answer questions like, well, how does somebody end up in it? Why don't you just submit to the cops? Blah, blah, blah. Well, the cops might be dirty. Everyone might be out to get you. Maybe the environment's fucking toxic. Maybe no matter what you try to do, you feel fucked. Anyway, I just thought it was powerful, and I don't think this is like a universally everybody would love it type album. I think this is going to really be for those of you that like the lyrical shit, the more underground feeling, the more authentic shit, This is a cool project. For those of you who like stories, I encourage you to check it out. The lyricism is there. His flows are ridiculous. Every word is fucking clear. I liked it. I like this project a lot. So thank y'all for checking this out. I totally appreciate you watching. Feel free to leave a comment about how you feel on this project, on this review, anything to the sort. Don't forget to, just let me know if I made any mistakes or anything. And feel free to be a little mean if you want. If you are a little mean, I might be a little snarky in the comments or just the song dance of all of this. But special thanks to our patrons, Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Super Old School 1994, Carl J., and Lindell Williams. They support what we do here, and they understand that we're just trying to grow together online. They're helping us get better shit, like we got a better camera recently, and as time goes on, we can hopefully leave day jobs and dedicate ourselves full time to really diving in deeper and just doing it smarter and getting more accomplished with it. And if you do join us there, you get access to the request pool. So as an example, we'll be covering Goody Mob for Carl, because that's part of what he gets out of being a patron. And so if you have any album you want to see us do, it's a great way to get that done. There's also a public Discord available for everyone in the description of the video, and if you join the Patreon, we'll have a private one there for the patrons. And otherwise, I dropped a project recently. You can find it on this channel. You can find it in Spotify's and all that shit. The links in below in the video. Let me know what you think about that. And I'll be back with more reviews. Looking forward to seeing what you think. And I'm looking forward to see what Blue does next. That's all I'm trying to say. And let me know if Oh No has like some seminal projects I need to be hearing or whatnot, because I am trying to learn more about the producers that we're following. And I do like the production on this project. I don't know if you're all still listening. I wonder if people actually get to the end of my videos. On that note, peace.